Yeah. I'm just calming
Are
down
you
a little
anxious right now?
bit. I'm just uncomfortable.
Why?
I don't know. I like you though.
Okay, I like you too. Do you want to like
No, I'm fine.
take your shoes off?
No.
Or do you want like a blanket? Do you want anything to make you cozier? Don't be anxious. I promise you, you're doing great.
Oh, thanks.
You're doing really good. We've got a blankie.
No, it's okay. I don't need a blanket. No.
Why are you uncomfortable?
I just I'm not uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I lied.
Okay.
I'm fine.
So you are a liar. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, but you're just uncomfortable because this is a lot for you. It's like new.
It's very fresh. And like I said, like it takes me a while to process my emotions and how I feel about everything. And right now, I think some of the things I haven't processed it. So like I just got back from Fiji. I just left.
Yeah.
And so like right now it makes me nervous to talk about these things because like emotions are kind of high and like I just don't want to like.
Okay, well I think it's, I think it's fair that we can say for everyone watching, like to clarify again, like you literally got on a plane. You got your phone on your way to the airport. You got on the plane. You landed here and we're doing this. Like, this is not like a month later or even like a week later. Like, you have barely had time to like even see all the fan edits on TikTok. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is fresh. So I think
really
that's
fresh.
good to clarify. And like when we're talking about this, it's almost like you're still on the island. And I'm sure if I interviewed you a month from now, you're going to have a complete different perspective.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
For sure.
So like that makes me nervous.
We'll do a follow-up.
Okay.
So we'll compare notes from now to a month from now or a year from now. Where will Rob be in a year from now? We'll talk about it. Okay. You get into the villa. You're an original cast member. And the first person that you are coupled up with on day one is Leah. What was your first impression of her?
I really liked her a lot. I felt like, I think it's pretty obvious that I'm a bit odd and I can be hard to read. And I think it's hard for people to understand me, especially my humor. Mm-hmm. She got it right away. And I loved that. And I also thought she was really funny. And obviously she's gorgeous. But seriously, from the first night when I walked in there, we just kept like locking eyes. Yeah. And I was like, man, I really hope that we get coupled up tonight. And then we did.
And how long were you guys in the villa alone together before Andrea came in? 2 days?
Well, like, yeah, technically, like it felt like a week, but it wasn't because Liv came in and stole me first.
Right.
But that was like, I mean, like I was with, like, there was never a moment where I thought I was going to go with Liv instead of Leah. Like it kind of got clipped that way, but like I was telling Leah the whole time, I was like, you have nothing to worry about. Because I was shocked when Liv picked me. Like we all were. We all were so sure she was going to pick Kendall.
Yes, I agree. I was pretty shocked too.
Yeah.
And then you were like, you and Leah were pretty upset. Like you wanted to make your way back to each other kind of. Mm-hmm. And like we could feel that in the beginning. I think we could all feel like you guys really liked each other.
Yeah.
And you guys shared a brain cell. Can you fucking explain what that means?
I don't remember how that went down. I just know that it was a thing and that we would give it to each other when we were talking because we were like, it was a lot. I mean, like we didn't sleep the first night. Like we were like, it's insane. I'm telling you, it's an insane experience that's like built to get your emotions up. Yeah. Which is like, it's good. That's how it works. It's like putting a relationship in a microwave. Like you know someone for a week, you feel like you know them for a month. Like it's crazy.
Well, then Andrea comes in. Mm. And I remember you're sitting at the fire pit and you're like, oh my God, that is the most gorgeous woman I've ever seen in my life.
Did I say that actually?
Yeah, you said that. You were at the fire pit and you turned to the guys and you're like, that's the most gorgeous woman I've ever seen in my life. You also told...
Did they put in the whole clip because it was that? I said, I hope she has a terrible personality.
You did say, did that. Yes. And then, but you also told Leah that you weren't attracted to blondes.
I don't like blondes.
So then what was different
She's not a blonde. She's brunette. Oh. She has blonde hair, but she's not a blonde.
Okay.
Yeah. She's got brown eyes, dark features. She's not a blonde.
But she's currently a blonde.
Yeah, but it doesn't... Come on, it's not the hair.
That's
not what makes you blonde or brunette, to me.
Okay. I was just curious because obviously Leah was like, what the fuck? He said he wasn't into blondes. And then we have Liv and then we have Andrea.
Yeah. Well, also, like, I don't follow like a rubric of like, she has blonde hair. Done. Like, that's not... I don't really... When people ask me, I say I don't have a type.
Okay.
But I do typically like brunettes more.
Okay.
Like, my track record definitely
is
more
brunettes.
Into breasts, yeah.
So when Andrea comes in, what was your first impression like during your first conversations with her?
First conversation, it was nice, but it wasn't like romantic. Like I enjoyed talking to her. Okay. Like we apparently talked for like a really long time.
Yes.
And I didn't realize that we were talking that long. So like it went really well. But it wasn't like I was still like pretty all in on Leah at that point.
Okay. You can imagine how that's confusing though, because you were spending a lot of time with her.
Well, we literally just had that one convo.
That was it?
Yeah, before the next day she took me on a date, but that night we just had one conversation. Yeah.
And so you decided to be upfront with Leah that you were kind of feeling Andrea in that moment, which I do think everyone like appreciated that you were upfront about it. You were like, I'm really still feeling you, Leah, but I do want to get to know her and I'd be lying if I didn't. Were you afraid to have that conversation with Leah?
Of course, because I didn't want to hurt her. I still really liked her. Like I was like, that's something I think that people don't understand. Like there was never a point where I stopped liking Leah. And I guess we'll get to that, but yeah.
Okay, but as you can imagine from Leah's perspective, like that sucks to be like, I'm going to get to know someone. And it's like, oh, fuck, I'm not good enough that like you want to go try something different, obviously. Were you worried that you would lose her?
Yeah, definitely. It was stressing me out. Like it was stressing me out because I told myself that I was going to get to know every girl and I was going to try to figure out who was going to be my best match, no matter how much I liked the girl I was with.
Okay. Because
that's what the love I experience, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
And that, that's what they tell you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And so I was like, I got to, and it was like a good enough conversation where I was like, I'm giving this a chance. Like, I'm just going to see where it goes.
The Love Island experience is odd. Like it's not normal. Like in the real world, when you're single,
you would never do that.
But are you usually at least talking to like a couple people at once? Like, do you have like a little roster?
Not really. I'm not really like, I don't like talking to people that much. So like it's usually.
Are you a bad texter?
Yeah, I'm terrible on my phone. Yeah.
So how do you communicate with your girlfriends?
Calling, FaceTime is usually much better.
Are you a FaceTimer or a caller?
I'm a caller, but I will FaceTime.
Okay.
Because, yeah.
Okay, so in real life though, you don't usually have like a couple women. Are people going to come forward and be like, what are you talking about?
I mean, yeah, like it's definitely happened. Like I've definitely been, but I mean, that's when you're single, like, yeah, you're going to get to know multiple people at a time, but like, it's not like I've never like dated multiple women.
Would you consider yourself a romantic person?
Yeah, I'm a romantic at heart for sure.
What is the most romantic thing you've ever done for a girl?
Probably took her to catch turtles at 2 a.m.
Do you think that was your dream or her dream?
I don't know. It seemed pretty special to me.
The
moon was out and it was like, it was really nice. I enjoyed it a lot. It's quiet. It's kind of scary. So she's like, wants to be close. And it's like, I don't know. Turtles are cute.
They are cute.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I don't know. Most romantic thing. I can't think of that off the top of my head. I like making things a lot.
Okay. Like what?
I made a emerald necklace for my first girlfriend from an emerald that I mined in North Carolina, I think.
Wow. That's romantic.
Yeah, I like making stuff. I'm crafty, like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a good answer.
Okay.
Back to Love Island.
Okay.
The love triangle was clearly short-lived, and can you walk me through the infamous conversation with Leah, where she goes to basically confront you and is like, hey, what the fuck? Like, I feel like you're spending time with her, and then it blows up and the whole thing it was basically like the last conversation that ended your guys' relationship romantically.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, the one where I jumped in the pool?
Yes.
Okay.
That was kind of like
I know.
The breaking point. Okay. Take me to that conversation.
It wasn't for me at all. If it seemed that way, that's not how it was, really. It was like, I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But I've seen clips, obviously, like on TikTok and stuff. I feel like it was condensed down to like, I don't know how long, but like it was a pretty long conversation that slowly got worse and worse and worse and worse. And it was kind of like Leah was coming at me, like saying what she was saying, which I thought was like perfectly valid. And I kept telling her that. I was like, I get where you're coming from. And like, I'm trying to see from your perspective because I get that this is hurting you. It would hurt me too if I was in your shoes. And then every time I tried to talk, she kept like cutting me off and she wouldn't let me speak. And then I started getting emotional. And then I was like, I just need to step away. And then I started crying. And I was like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? And I think just crying induced like a panic attack. Like I was fully freaking out. I was fully freaking out. And then I kind of got it together. I went back down, sat with her, and she just started talking again, like saying the same things. And just didn't like act like what set me off was she just didn't ask me like how I felt, which I think that triggered a lot of people. They were like, it matters more what she feels in that moment. And 100%, I was the one causing this situation.
Yeah.
And I was taking responsibility for that. I was trying to, but also like I just needed someone just to check on me in that moment. And for me, up until that moment, she was that person, and I kind of felt like just that she didn't care at all, which isn't true.
Yeah,
it was just she was really upset, and she rightfully so.
I feel like that was like a classic, like you both were so hurt, and when you were both speaking to each other, you both needed the other one to validate the other one, and you both were so hurt that like you couldn't do that because you needed the person to be like, no, you're right, and neither of you could give that because you were so upset.
Yeah.
But why do you think you had a panic attack? Like, what was it that was causing you so much angst?
It was everything. It was knowing that I was gonna have to choose between these two girls, one that I just met, but I was really like want to give a chance and I liked, and then Leah that I've just been it's been great the whole time. Yeah. And honestly, like I had no idea what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
I really and I didn't know, it's very short windows of time where you have to make decisions and stuff. And like I knew Leah wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I fucked up. I was just like, I think honestly, had that not happened, I probably would have stayed with Leah, I think. Because that was, after that happened, I was like, well, that was terrible. And then at that point, like my head was, I feel like after that, my gut was telling me like you should just go with Andrea. But my head was still like, you really get on with Leah. Yeah. Like it's really good. But I was hurt, and I wish I could have just, something I needed to hear in that moment that I wish someone would have come up into me and said was, advice that I gave everyone else later down the road was, you need to just take yourself out of Love Island for like 10 minutes and just realize you just met these girls. It's not that big of a deal. Why are you so emotional? Like really like pick it apart, because I didn't know. I was like, why am I crying so much? I thought that, but I didn't take myself out of it completely. And I think if I had done that, I think it would have been a lot different.
Okay, but to your guys' credit, like it's like you guys are in this like experiment box, and like you can't take yourself out of it. That's the beauty and the hard part of it. Like I get it. You're like, wait, if I had gotten to just like go home for 5 minutes and like talk to my family and hung out, I would have come back in and been like, listen, ladies, like let's all get to know each other. It's not that deep. Whoever picks who, like we're all still here. Let's just keep hanging. Like we've known each other for 24 hours. Like, but in the moment, it's so intense because it's also fucking with people's like time while you're there, and can someone almost get sent home? Like it's so many dynamics that like it is heightened. You made a pretty fucked comment in that conversation about how there was no sexual connection.
I did not say that.
Yeah.
I did not say there's no sexual connection.
You weren't feeling the sexual connection between you and Leah.
Did I say those words?
Yes.
Was exactly what I said? You
said, I mean, we can look it up. You said basically like you were not feeling the sexual relationship.
It was, I felt like we didn't know what each other wanted. Like it was kind of like a weird thing. Because
you guys like, you had made out, right?
Yeah, we made out like a couple times, and it was good. It wasn't bad. I was just like, I don't know why that came up, but yeah, I was just letting her know. Like I'm in that there, like you said, anything you don't say to somebody is wasting their time. And like I felt like I needed to be as transparent with everyone as I could.
And so what were you feeling? Because you clearly have a sexual connection with her, no? Or no?
Yeah, but it wasn't like, I feel like we didn't click sexually. Does that make sense? Found her really attractive, everything. But when we kissed and stuff, it was like, it felt like she was holding back. She told me, and she said she was. Like she said, oh, that's because, she said it was because the first night when we had our first kiss, I said, please be gentle. I was joking before we kissed. And she said that's why. She said that from then on, she like would like hesitate like kissing me and stuff. And she said that was why.
And do you think if that...
I was like, well, that makes sense. Because that's what it felt like. It felt like
she was holding back.
I couldn't tell if she wanted to kiss me whenever we'd like make out. And I'm like, does she want to stop? Like I couldn't tell. Like it was really weird. And I'm glad I told her because, well, I don't think we made out again after that. But but I told her that, and she was like, oh yeah, I was holding back. Because you said that the first time we kissed. I was like, that was a joke.
Because I think obviously like that sucked to see, because on her side, just like as a girl, you're like, fuck, like there's no rebuttal. Yeah. It's like saying you have no chemistry with someone. Like,
yeah, but am I wrong for like telling her that?
No,
like,
no.
Yeah.
And I think she understandably was so upset by that comment, and then she slept outside that night, because I think she went to Serena after that and was like, I literally feel like, what the fuck, like I feel like gross, like I'm like, oh my god, am I not sexually attractive to him? But that's not what you were saying.
Not at all. And I told her that.
Okay.
You gotta understand, these conversations, they're like max 5 minutes long.
End. Yeah.
That was at least an hour.
Yeah.
At the very least. It was probably more of us talking up there.
In that moment when I was watching, and you can clarify, it felt also like you were saying that, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the viewers kind of felt this way. And you when you shared that with her, you used that an example of like why you basically were going to maybe like try and make things work with Andrea.
I mean, maybe, but no. Like, it was more of just like telling her everything about us, like on the table. So if that did happen, like, she understands where I'm at. Like, I didn't want to blindside anyone. And I feel like I ended up blindsiding her because I didn't get the chance to talk to her before the recoupling thing. That was like, that's one of my biggest regrets, is I should have insisted, because I wasn't able to get to her, and I should have been like, no, we're not, like, I need to talk to Leah before this, like, because I knew it was going to happen. But yeah. Can
you explain that you weren't able to get to her? Like, do they physically put you in different rooms and you can't see people? Oh, are you not allowed to say that?
I can't talk about it, yeah.
Really? I feel like everyone knows that. Okay, so I'm gonna.
Okay,
I'll just assume that you guys are like separated.
I wasn't able to talk to her. That's all I can say. Like, I didn't get the chance.
Okay,
I didn't get the chance to talk to her.
And can we just like finish the conversation on how everyone thought that you were potentially crying to manipulate the situation? I think a lot of people looked at the situation like, wow, he's in a position of power. He's getting to pick between these two women. If anyone
he's crying, yeah, it's ridiculous.
And he's crying. Like, fucking Leah should be crying if anyone's crying, but she didn't, obviously.
Yeah.
And so people were struggling to know if the tears were genuine or if they were like a manipulation tactic to like make it look kind of like, oh, this sucks for me too, and like kind of get you out unscathed. What do you say to that?
That's completely not true. I mean, you can ask anyone. That I would never want to cry. Like, no, definitely not. That was completely genuine.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I wish it didn't happen at all.
The pool. Was there nowhere else to go?
So this is one of those things. So in my head, I wasn't planning on going to the pool, but I saw it. I walked down the stairs, I saw it. I was like, oh, I had noticed earlier that day you could go up under the deck and there's no cameras, there's no mics. I just wanted to be alone. I was like, fuck this shit. And I was like, all right, I'm going in there. And so I took my clothes off. I jumped in. I went in there, and then I got in there and I was like, they probably think I'm killing myself or something.
I was going to say.
I was like, this is a terrible idea. This was an awful idea. So then I got out and then I just walked out. And that's what I should have done. I should have just walked out because I needed to be alone. That's what I needed. But I knew they were going to stop me. I knew if I walked out, they were going to like stop me, whatever. But I knew I get in the pool. Like, what are they going to do? Fish me out? Like, but yeah, it was, yeah. Hindsight, not the best choice.
What do you think your biggest flaw is when it comes to dating?
Probably my biggest flaw. Mm-hmm. It's hard to pick one.
Oh, okay. List a couple. We're here.
I think I definitely learned from this that I have an issue with letting people in, and letting my walls down. I think I also struggle with like communication. And I think I procrastinate my feelings. I think I'm feeling them, but I don't process them in my brain until I have to. And that is probably one of the biggest things. Like, that's what I think happened with the Leah and Andrea situation, where I think if I had just like, but then again, I was never alone, and I have to be alone to do that kind of thing. And I think if I was able to do that, it could have been so much better. I could have communicated Leah a lot better, because something about it is like, you can recouple, but it doesn't mean it's over. And I still had those feelings for Leah. And I think if I could have talked to her about it, I don't know what would have happened, but like, it would have been different.
Why do you think you have such a hard time with letting people in?
Probably just the way I grew up.
Okay.
Probably just like,
share.
Kind of. Well, like, I'm I'm one of four, and I was just always more the quiet one, kept to myself, I was just like the middle child. There's four of us, but I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I just was like kind of independent. And I think a lot of times I just felt like people didn't care. So like, I just didn't ever, and I still feel like that. I feel like people don't care because they don't. Like, realistically, most people don't give a shit. Like, they'll ask you, but they don't really care. So I just don't waste my time in telling people. Like, usually I just kind of like keep on going until I feel like it's something that matters, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I think it's only in one-on-one conversations that I can like actually let my walls down and talk. Because I think I gave every girl a chance and I tried my best. But I like, looking back, I was like, damn, especially like after the Andrea and Leah thing, it just like tightened me up even more. Like, because I hurt them and I knew that, and it was my fault. Like,
yeah,
I fucked up. And it was hard for me to like keep going after that.
I think people felt that. You kind of like shut off after